All right, Steve Sarkisian had his media availability yesterday, spoke about a number of different topics, or I should say asked about a number of different topics, and he addressed them. We'll start with the offensive line, which had an amazing performance versus Alabama. 0 sacks allowed, fewer than 3 pressures, first O-line to do that versus Bama since 2014. I mean, it was considering the jump, the leap in improvement from week 1 versus Rice to week 2 versus Bama, it was really, really impressive. One of the things that Sark addressed was the rotation at guard between DJ Campbell and Hayden Connor. Oh, no, and Cole Hudson. Cole Hudson. Here is Sark addressing the rotation of those guys.
I'm okay where we're at right now. Like you said, they both played well Saturday night. I think for both of them, it's not the worst thing that they're rotating a little bit. In DJ, this is kind of his first real experience playing. For Cole, coming off of some off-season surgeries and getting his body in shape, and in the end, there's no telling, other things could happen on the offensive line where injuries and different things potentially could occur down the road. And both those guys are getting really valuable experience, and they're both maximizing their opportunities when they're on the field. So I'm okay right now with where we're at, and we'll just continue to monitor that situation as we go.
So I think it's a good thing. You got 2 guys that you trusted enough to play versus Alabama on the road in Tuscaloosa. And that means now you essentially believe you got 6 starters on the O-line. You want 8 guys that you can rotate at one point or another, maybe matchup-wise, situational-wise, whatever it may be. You definitely know you got 6 now, and I think they're working on trying to see and solidify who those other 2 are going to be. I know they use Malik Agbo when they do the 6 O-line package. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be one of the guys rotating in and out, but they do use him in a 6 O-line package. But I think this is a first world problem we're talking about here.
Yeah,
right.
Having too many offensive linemen.
I got 2 guys who basically can be starters for me. I got to figure out in what situation and what matchup, which of them is going to give us the best best game plan and the most effective way to execute that game plan.
And my naked eye on this, Rod, watching it, you could do it with your deep dive. It feels to me like DJ Campbell's better in the run blocking, the run game, more of a road grader, and maybe Cole Hudson a little bit better in the pass protection.
That's true, but you don't want to give it away, though.
No,
you don't want to give it away.
No,
give it away now.
You need to be versatile and be able to be both. And,
yeah.
But yeah, that is a good problem. That's a first world problem without a doubt for Texas. And that's, to me, one of the big keys or big things you're watching for in this game. I don't want Texas to bang their head against the wall trying to run the ball early against Wyoming. I'd like to see them come out and take advantage of their weapons against Wyoming's secondary. But at some point, if you can stretch the lead out, try to get physical. See if you can establish that line of scrimmage, get some continuity with that group, continue to build it as you begin Big 12 Conference play the following week.
Yeah, Sark, I'm not sure if he's going to be stubborn about the running game. The best game plan going against Wyoming would be to attack their secondary. Even they have acknowledged that's their weakness. And their strength is Easton Gibbs, their middle linebacker. They got some really good defensive ends. Both are veteran defensive ends, too, which they brag about, too, being one of the strengths of the team. I think his name is Braden. One of his Braden Siners, and the other one is Devon Harris. Devon Harris is a preseason all-conference selection. They also have 2 D tackles that are pretty good. Jordan Bartignol, who's also an all-conference selection, preseason all-conference selection, and the nose tackle, who they think is better than Bartignol, who's Cole Godbolt, and he's actually pretty good too. So that's the strength. The secondary, they got a lot of pieces that they're trying to put together, and it's still a work in progress, which Coach Craig Bowles even admitted, and the defensive coordinator admitted. Texas' strength is obviously their weapons. I mean, very few teams in the country can match up with them in terms of their receivers. X-Men, A.D. Mitchell, J.T. Sanders, Jay Witt as well. Yeah, I know Sark wants to infuse some consistency and confidence in the running game, but it would be, in my opinion, counterproductive to go in there and just say, you know what, we gotta pound the rock. It's like, well, your weakness is going up against their strength, and you should have their weakness have to match up against your strength. And right now, I think it may be the opposite. If he decides to run the ball, I'm not saying you can't run it versus Wyoming. I think you can, but that's the tougher route. That's working harder, not smarter. There you go.
Yeah, and with C.J. Baxter being a game-time decision with another injury, I don't think we even know what the injury is. He got hurt with a rib injury against Rice, left that game in the second quarter, and then in this game, it was Jonathan Brooks who closed it out with those 12 that 12-play drive in the fourth quarter. And then what you saw if you're watching the Longhorn Network postgame show was C.J. Baxter kind of hobbling off the field, and now he's listed as kind of a game time. Would it be smarter to make sure he's healthy for conference play and try to use your other backs in this game tonight and use your weapons to beat a Wyoming team? But by the way, my Wyoming also, Rod, might be looking at their big picture as well, because they're off to a 2-0 start, have beaten a Big 12 team already. They need to be thinking about the Mountain West Conference as well if they've got some guys that are a little nicked up.
Well, yeah, because I heard the quarterback, Peasley, is his name, Andrew Peasley.
Andrew Peasley.
He's dealing with a shoulder injury right now, and he's the lifeblood of that offense. He makes a lot of plays, gritty. Yes, exactly.
Gritty gamer.
Makes a lot of plays in crucial moments. He's not necessarily a great quarterback, but he is a playmaker at that position for them. And yeah, they're pretty good. They're going to think about making a run in the Mountain West Conference. So they may limit his run game. He actually is a big runner for them. He actually, you can argue in the first 2 games of the season, he's been their most productive runner. Whether it be quarterback design runs or him scrambling. All right, speaking of the run game, let's get back to Texas run game. Here's Sark when he was asked about the Texas running game.
I think at the end of the day, for us, from a run game standpoint, I want to see consistency. And with consistency comes a level of physicality. We have to move people off the line of scrimmage, and I just don't think that we've been quite consistent enough in that aspect of our game. Again, I love the fact that we were able to run the ball the way that we did with 7 minutes to go and run it when Alabama knew we were going to run the ball. But I sure would like to have that mentality in the first quarter of a game and to go out and run the football the way that I think we're capable of. So when you talk about making improvements, that's definitely one of them for us, where I think we can improve as a football team. But that goes hand in hand with our ability to pass the football as well, that we need to find that balance on our offense, because that's when we're at our best.
All right, there you go. See, he said it. I said it before. Well, he wants to see some consistency in the running game. I know sometimes I sound like a coach. That's exactly what he said. I want to see some consistency in the running game. So there's a chance he could be stubborn in this game, but he brought up the passing game there too. So we don't know. We have no idea exactly how Coach is going to approach it. All right, one more of the cut before we get to the break here. This is important. We've talked about how this team now has a new challenge about. They've achieved such a monumental goal, which is beating Bama. And that's not the end goal, but that's one of their short-term goals on the way to accomplishing their long-term goal, which is to winning the Big 12 and then hopefully competing for the ultimate championship. But they haven't had the chance to handle success like this in a while because they haven't had it in a long time. Here is Sark talking about the players-only meeting, apparently, that was called by Quinn Ewers. And this players-only meeting was to address how to handle success.
Yeah, what I thought was really cool this week, we did our traditional Monday morning meeting where we recap the game. And, I show, about 18 or so plays to the entire team, coachable moments, teachable moments, or things that we did well. And then I turn the page in that meeting and I get into what I think it's going to take this week to play well. And interestingly enough, I got a text from Quinn later that day. Do you mind if we have a players only meeting Tuesday morning before we start? And so of course, so the fact that, Quinn, that leadership committee wanted to have a players only meeting to make sure that they were reiterating the message about getting refocused on what we need to do this week, I thought was a great sign for us.
Yeah, and we got the Jalen Ford tweet from a couple of days ago. All right, now I'm done. It's all rat poison. He understands that, everybody patting you on the back and all the celebrations. That's for the fans. That's for us. That's for the fans, and that's for those on the outside looking in. You guys inside that locker room, y'all got to stay focused. That's just one of your, like I said, one goal, short-term goal that you accomplished on your way to the long-term goal. Stay focused.
Respect every opponent and prepare for each one the same way.
I love it.
And as I said to Patrick Davis yesterday out of Wings Up, all the guys that you hear him talking about as leaders, like Quinn Ewers,
Jalen
Ford,
mm-hmm.
Christian Jones, these guys aren't planning on being here next year. This is it for them. They're done. I mean,
JT
Quinn Ewers wants to
Sanders.
be in the draft in April.
Yep.
This is so, all
It's their run.
all you guys are excited about the SEC. We're not going to be in the SEC. We want to win this year.
Yep.
That's what you like to hear because that comes from the locker room.
Yeah, this is their swan song in the Big 12. They're trying
Leave
to
a
send
legacy.
Texas off. Yeah, you want to leave it better than you found it. That was our goal. And I was like, man, we got to leave it better than we found it.
And
leave it better than you found it.
As Sark treats it like a business in a lot of ways with these young guys and they want to improve their draft stock. I mean, they want to improve their if that individually helps the team, obviously. And Jalen Ford is doing just that. Christian Jones with his performance last week against Alabama did that. A lot of these guys.
Usually the players only meeting is a bad thing. I compare it to marriage counseling or, couples therapy. Usually it's because things are going wrong. That's why you have the players only meeting. But, ain't nothing wrong with going to therapy when things are going right.
Just make sure everybody in the locker room is understanding what the goal is.
This is the exception to that rule. I know I've always said that. This is the exception.
Because coming off that win, there's a lot of distractions that you could fall into.